This is the newest phone from OnePlus, the OnePlus 6, and the company coins it as the speed you need. How's it going, guys? Yomotosh here, and I got to try my hands on the new OnePlus 6, which is actually owned by a friend of mine who is so excited about his new phone. And in my best attempt to relieve the unboxing experience of the already unboxed phone, well, I boxed it up again in order to unbox it on video. Included in the box is the dash charger, the red USB-C cable, and of course the phone itself. So the standout feature of this device are the new glass back and of course the notch, like it or hate it. I must say the midnight black is really nice and somewhat slippery, and this certainly is a big phone, although maintaining the same footprint as the outgoing OnePlus 5 and 5T. So let's get into the details and specs about the OnePlus 6. The OnePlus 6 has a beautiful looking 6.2-inch 1080p AMOLED display of the 19:9 aspect ratio, with a notch included of course, but it does allow you to hide the notch in the settings of the device, and there is also an option to enable gesture controls to make full use of the display, but it's just not as fluid as the iPhone X's gestures. As expected with the OnePlus devices, it comes with the best of Snapdragon processors, rocking a Snapdragon 845 with 6GB of RAM or 8GB of RAM depending on the storage space selected, which is mind-boggling to see on a smartphone. My laptop used to edit this video only has 8GB of RAM. Speaking of storage space, the OnePlus comes with 64GB, 128 or 256GB of storage, paying more as you move up. Its face unlock is as snappy as ever, although far from secure as some people claim they can unlock it with a printed picture. But you can always fall back on its fingerprint scanner, which is located underneath the pair of camera sensors behind the phone. Sporting a 16MP f1.7 aperture primary sensor with OIS and a 20MP sensor, OnePlus is really driving the fact that its phone can take great pictures, which is where it was lacking in comparison to previous flagships. Indeed, it does take good photos, but it didn't wow me. I took a few samples with the 1x and 2x optical zoom in auto. The primary sensor seemed to do great, but the 2x sensor lacks detail even in brightly lit conditions. Needless to say, this phone records 480 frames per second in 720p, which no other phone does right now. And it does it not just for a split second like the Galaxy S9 does with its 960 frames per second slow motion. And here's a clip from the OnePlus 6 showing my friend Ben doing a backflip. As you can tell, 720p isn't the best quality, but it is still in 480p, which is an incredible feat. Moving on to the software side of things, its OS is pretty close to stock Android, running on OnePlus's Oxygen OS over Android 8.1 Oreo. And it's been a while since I've used Android, but I must say the animations on this device are very smooth and there's no stutter at all, just buttery smoothness. You may be pleased to hear that it keeps its headphone jack but still only has a downfiring mono speaker. Battery life is also pretty good. My friend averages 7 hours of screen on time with a battery capacity of 3300 mAh, which is not red as Zach from Jerry Rig Everything pointed out. Now OnePlus has come a long way from the flagship killer OnePlus One, which is a term they don't seem to use anymore, and although I'm not too happy about the prices creeping up every year, it's still a far cry from the likes of the iPhone X. Coming in at £469 for the 64GB, 6GB RAM base model, and reaching £569 for the 256GB variant with the 8GB of RAM. The prices are good, but that's not to say it doesn't lack some flagship features such as wireless charging and stereo speakers. But I'd like to say that it's not the end of the world if you don't have these features, seeing that people queued up for these devices at the pop-up stores. All in all, OnePlus is doing great with their smartphones, and although I won't be rushing to pick up one partly because I don't have the money for it, I won't forget the excitement I felt hearing news about the very first OnePlus device. Please consider liking and hitting that subscribe button for another video like this in the near future. Shout out to Ben for allowing me to shoot this with his phone. Once again, it's Yomitosh and see you in the next one. Peace.